Game theory is an analysis of decisions made between two or more intelligent agents. Now, those agents are usually human beings, but you could do an analysis of decisions made by animals interacting with each other, or even computers that interact with each other. How do you analyse decisions? Typically, game theory starts with a mathematical analysis, and for pure game theorists it ends with a mathematical analysis as well. But for other social scientists, they want to take those decisions into a social science lab and have people interact and see how those decisions play out. For other social scientists, they take their decisions into the field and see how people interact in a real world setting. So let's have a look at a game theory analysis of the decision that was faced by King Solomon when two women brought him one baby. We couldn't find anybody that was prepared to lend us their baby for that introduction, so we had to use Nuts the rabbit. Sorry about that, Elisa. Here we have a game theory analysis of the scenario faced by King Solomon. You might remember the story. We've got two ladies, they've each got a baby, one of them rolls over in the night and kills her baby, so she steals the other's baby. They all go to King Solomon, and King Solomon orders the living baby to be chopped in two and a piece given to each woman. At that point, the real mother breaks down and says, no, give the other lady the baby, because she would rather see the baby live than die. Now, this analysis will get us to the same outcome if everybody acts rationally and if we set our incentives correctly. So what do we mean by rationally? An action is rational if the benefits outweigh the costs. Now, we couldn't criticise King Solomon for not using this because he couldn't expect anybody in his scenario to act rationally. You've got a woman who's just accidentally killed their baby, who's committed kidnap. We've got another woman who's lost their baby. So no one in this scenario could be expected to think straight. So what use is this sort of analysis? Well, we could use this sort of thing in a scenario where we would expect people to act rationally. So this analysis is from a game theorist called Ken Binmore, and he's best known outside of social science for organising some of the auctions to sell off public goods like the frequencies used for mobile phone communications. So he designed the auction that was used for an early sale of the airwaves, and he made a lot of money for the UK taxpayer. So what we have in this analysis is a list of all the possible outcomes in the scenario, and we have assigned a value for the real mother and a value for the imposter mother, and those are listed here in blue. The value for the real mum is on the right, the value for the imposter mum is on the left. And we have assigned a value to the life of the baby. Now, that would be very difficult in practice, but for simplicity, we have come up with the value 3. It could be 3 bags of gold, 3 shekels, 3 camels, doesn't matter. 3, the baby is worth 3 bags of gold to the real mum. We're assuming that the baby is worth less to the imposter mum, so we'll put that as 1 bag of gold. And then King Solomon has to set a fine in between those two values. So we're going to use 2 bags of gold for the fine. Okay. So what we do is we choose one of the women at random. So let's say we choose the imposter at random. We ask her, are you the real mum? Now, if she says no, the baby gets given to the real mum, who walks away with a baby that's worth 3 bags of gold. So they come away with 3. The imposter gets nothing. On the other hand, if the imposter says yes, she is the real mum, we ask the same question to the real mum. Now, if for whatever reason the real mum says no, then the baby gets given to the imposter, so the imposter comes away with 1 bag of gold's worth of value, so that's the baby, and the real mum gets nothing. If the real mum says yes, she's the real mum, then the baby gets given to the second lady, in this case it's the real mum, and everybody gets fined. Now, the real mum has a baby that's worth 3 bags of gold to them, the fine is 2 bags of gold, so they come away with 1 bag of gold's worth of value. The imposter gets nothing except the fine, so she walks away with a fine of 2 bags of gold. Now down here, if the imposter can look ahead, she will see that if it gets to here, the real mum is not going to answer no and walk away with nothing. She's going to answer yes and walk away with something worth 1 bag of gold. So the imposter can see that, and she can see that if it gets to here, she's going to walk away with -2 bags of gold. So down here, she will choose to say no and leave with nothing rather than losing 2 bags of gold. On the other hand, we might start by randomly choosing the real mum. So we ask her, are you the real mum? If for whatever reason she says no, the baby gets given to the other lady who is the imposter. The imposter therefore gets the baby that's worth 1 bag of gold to them, and the real mum gets nothing. If the real mum says she is the real mum, then we ask the imposter, are you the real mum? Now if the imposter says no, the baby gets given to the real mum, she ends up with the baby worth 3 bags of gold, and the imposter gets nothing. If the imposter says she is also the real mum, then the baby gets given to the second lady, who in this case is the imposter, but everybody gets fined. Now, the baby is worth 3 bags of gold to the real mum, but the real mum didn't get the baby, so she starts with 0 and then gets the fine, so she walks away with -2 bags of gold. The baby is worth 1 bag of gold to the imposter, take the fine away, and the imposter ends up with a baby, but also -1 bag of gold of value. So if it gets to that point, if we get to here, the imposter would rather say no and walk away with nothing than say yes and walk away with a value of -1. And that's why we would say that if everybody acts rationally and follows this, the real mum will end up with the baby. And there it is, the game theory of King Solomon.